Are you ready? I said, are you ready? You are listening to Voice of the Fans Sportscast, brought to you by none other than the voices of the fans. Discussing football, basketball, news, trending topics. The one-stop shop for all things sports. Voice of the Fans Sportscast. Hosted by none other than Ben Swift Reynolds, Taylor Gatwood, and Tyler Wright. Voice of the Fans Sportscast. Voice of the Fans Sportscast. Voice of the Fans Sportscast.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Voice of the Fans Sportscast. I'm your host, Ben Reynolds, and we have a special guest with us, a living legend, Colin Cummings. What's up, bro? What's going on? Oh, shoot. Colin, mute your mic.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
Hey, I was just going to say it's an honor to be here. Super excited.
Hey, we're glad to have you. And of course, we have Taylor Gatwood and Deanie join us today. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
So, Colin, man, you coming back to extend the series of the air hockey that we did a couple of months ago with Robert Kennedy. So it was a pleasure when Robert Kennedy hooked us up and linked us up, and we finally brought you on, and you here. It's like I said, it's crazy that how we came from, a couple months back of not knowing y'all guys, but here we are with you on the show. And like I said, we happy to have you.
Yeah, it's a privilege, and I'm definitely super excited to talk all things air hockey. And definitely got to thank Robert and the Air Hockey Agency for giving me the opportunity as well to connect with you guys. And of course, our big sponsors, Porter Brown and Task Insurance, they're on the right here. So just got to give them a shout out.
Shout out to those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, Colin, man, we just going to dive into a little bit of your backstory. A lot of us and a lot of listeners don't know who you are and where you came from. So just tell us, who is Colin?
Who is Colin? So I'm originally born in Houston, Texas. I went to Baylor University, got my degree in biochemistry. I've been playing air hockey ever since I was 10 years old. And yeah, I still play.
You still play?
Yep. And I played air hockey for 6 years and eventually became the best in the world. So
awesome,
man. That's my main claim to fame.
That's a major feat for sure. And we got another Houston, Texas guy in here. Gatwood,
really?
Yeah.
I lived in Houston for a little bit, yeah. I lived in the Woodlands.
Brother.
If you know where that is.
Yeah, I was in Cypress.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right next door.
Well, look at there. Pair of Houston guys. So, Colin, where did your love from air hockey come from?
Yeah, it's been a definite relationship that I've been developing with air hockey for a while. So I moved across the street from a guy named Brian Acrocco, who at the time was like number 4 in the world. And his son was my age. And he was currently the number 1, like under 12 kids champion. And he had a bit of an ego. So I would go over to his house and play air hockey with them. And he beat me all the time. And he was like, yeah, I'm the best. This is awesome. And so I was like, okay. And eventually beat him after like a year of playing. And then as like an 11, 12-year-old, I was able to beat people who would come, who would be in their 20s, 30s, 40s. And so I think that's what sparked the passion. Yeah. And so ever since then, I just kept looking up. Like I kept finding who was going to be the next person to challenge and pushed myself. And I didn't even know I would eventually get to be the best. Like when I was 12, I wasn't like, I want to be the best of this sport. But yeah.
So, man, that's awesome. As a young kid that age, I bet you were hustling some older folks. Like, hey, I got this 10-year-old over here that can beat your air hockey. No, he can't. Let me show this kid something. Then you just come out and whoop them.
If I knew you guys, maybe y'all could have figured that out. But
Made some moolah on the way. But that's what's up, Air, when you have a love for something, it always start off somewhere. Like it just be just a little spark that takes to, you know, create a love and passion for something. And so you grew up in Houston, Texas, right? Did
yes,
you
sir.
play any did you play any other sport, or that was just your main thing with air hockey when you were growing up?
Yeah, so I played soccer for the most part, and then I was also a swimmer. So I definitely maintained fitness.
Mm,
It was in high school, my junior and senior year, that I actually played on like the high school team. Um, did that, and then I never really played anything competitively after I went to college. I just did
yeah.
intramurals. And I'm in the Air Force, so I was doing ROTC in college, and I was doing a bunch of sports there. So that definitely helped me stay in shape.
Oh, no doubt about that. I that's why I kind of find out when you do other physical activities, it usually translate well to other things you're doing, especially with games like air hockey, video games, anything dealing with hand-eye coordination. It helps out a lot. So you mentioned you was in the Air Force. Um, was that your plan all along to join the Air Force? You said you were in the RT,
Yeah, Air
what
Force
was it again?
ROTC.
Yeah, yeah. You said you was in that, so that was your plan all along to join the Air Force.
Yeah, so my plan out of high school was originally to go to the Air Force Academy, but apparently they thought there were too many kids from Texas, so they decided that I
Mm,
needed to go somewhere else. So I went to Baylor University up in Waco, got a pretty decent scholarship with the ROTC,
mm,
and I'm now an Air Force officer down in San Antonio.
mm.
Wow.
So
So
that's what's up.
yeah,
How
it's
did
worked
you?
out great.
Yeah. How did you find the time to maintain your practice regimen with air hockey?
Oh gosh, it was a challenge. So there was no air hockey community in Waco, and I really didn't get the opportunity to formally practice air hockey that much. So
Hmm.
by the time I was a sophomore in high school, the summer after my sophomore year was when I won my first tournament in Colorado Springs, and then up until that point, I had been playing in Houston all the
Yeah.
time. So we had weekly tournaments and state tournaments, and I won a state tournament right before I went on to win the world tournament. And after that, I had a table in my house for my junior and senior year of high school,
Mhm.
and I practiced for the most part with my dad, who he's currently ranked, I think, number probably 17 or around that. He's in the
Okay.
Oh,
top
wow.
20.
Dang. So running the family, I see.
Yeah, and my
Dang.
little brother's up and coming too.
Yeah. Connor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I seen him on Instagram earlier today. That's so. So in Houston, is it like a hotbed for air hockey? Is that like a thing in Houston?
Yeah, I would describe Houston as the air hockey capital of the world. So
Mm.
a lot of people attribute that to NASA and how the people that invented air hockey were NASA scientists. They were
Yeah.
working with zero gravity technology. Um, but when air hockey first originated as a sport, there was a community in Pennsylvania and a community in Houston, and the Houston community has definitely survived the longest. There's still a lot of people who were there at the beginning that are still in Houston. So they've kept it alive all the way up until now.
That's pretty amazing. I never
So,
thought that it came from no, like there was like a big thing in Houston with with baseball, basketball, and all the other type of sports in Houston, and that
Mhm.
just kind of blew my mind that something like that just blew up in Houston.
yes.
Yeah.
So when did like the tournaments and the league start?
So the tournament started back in the 70s, and they originated as like college tournaments. So I think the first one was actually at Penn State, and they called it nationals.
Hmm.
And so up until like the 19 90s, they were only national. They're just national United States air hockey tournaments. And then the leagues are more of a recent-ish thing. So they started in the 2000s, probably in post 2010. I'd say is when the first league started. But it was in like 1999 that a few guys from Venezuela came, and that's when it became world classification. So ever since then, there have been like air hockey regions. There's a group in Illinois. There have been groups in California in the past, and so each small community kind of made their own league of sorts, and then they would all gather for the world tournament or nationals every
So
year.
what is the nationals or tournament league called? Do they have like a set name or?
Mm-hmm. So it's been going under the banner of the United States Air Hockey Association. So the association will host the tournaments every year. But as far as leagues go, that's something that the Air Hockey Agency, is working on to try to basically allow for tournament-like events to go on all throughout the year, as opposed to just one singular event that happens.
I see. Yeah, it's kind of just like when they hold different sporting events for kids. They have like you might have AAU ball for basketball tournament play in this state, and you might have another AAU tournament in this state. So it's like dispersed all over the region and country. So it's never like a set big league. It's spurts of tournaments and stuff. Okay. Yeah, that's a grand scheme right there, and it seems like y'all got all the ideas and everything which I want to do with it. So how did you become part of Air Hockey AC? Did Rock Candy reach out to you? How did y'all connect and know each other?
Yes, I think I met Rob actually, gosh, probably 2 years ago, maybe 3. So he got into the sport a little bit more recently. He's played in a tournament way back, probably in the early 2000s, and then he went away, did his whole hockey career, and eventually decided that air hockey was cooler. I don't know, something like that. So he
saw the light.
Yeah, exactly. So lately he's joined back, and he's had just so many ideas for us to work with, and I'd say that his ideas they have a lot of good opportunities for the sport. And so just recently he got myself, the number 4 ranked player, and a like previous 4-time world champion. He got all of us sponsored and himself through the Air Hockey Agency, and that's a first. Like air hockey players have never been sponsored. The events have been sponsored, but just having a voice for air hockey has been huge, just with one individual. And so he's definitely made a stir in the community. So I've been in the air hockey community, and I can see the effects just from like 2 years of Robert being like, "Yo, like we can do something big with this," and it's been awesome.
Yeah, Robert is definitely a visionary. We saw that when we brought him on a couple months ago. I mean, you can tell he was like excited, man. He just like seen that passion inside of him that he want to make this thing grow. He want to make it work. I told him, I said, bro, like I'm gonna post as much air hockey stuff as I can. I want to try to make clips and try to give y'all a platform on our platform. Because I think that's important to support each other, especially dealing with different kind of sports. And can you tell us one of the visions Robert has for the Air Hockey AC that you can probably share?
Yeah. So I know that Robert's vision is along the lines of just making air hockey as exciting and entertaining towards the widest possible fan base. And so I think our common vision is that air hockey has been exclusively player oriented for a while, or at least the competitive scene. And so we're trying to open that up to be a fan based, I guess, fan based organization. Which Voice of the Fans makes a really good connection. So yeah, as far as vision goes, a lot of the players, they walk in, they see air hockey as this super competitive, awesome, exciting thing, but we're going to try to articulate and expand and have people that are not air hockey players be able to share in that experience, just like with all the other sports, just like with basketball and football. Like people who watch those sports, 90, probably more like 95% of the people that are customers or interested in the sport are not people on the field. And I think that's what we're getting at with air hockey is I myself and the top 10 air hockey players right now are the 0.01% who could be the all of the people that get to enjoy air hockey. And so we're just trying to make it super accessible. And one way we can do that is by hosting events and making it just super appealing for people.
It kind of remind me of the way esports did their thing. They took the top teams, the top players, and they plastered their faces all over the place. It's kind of like what y'all doing now. I didn't know y'all had ranked players. So I talked to Robert. I'm like, this guy's number one. Well, you number one, and so you're right. And he was like, this guy. I'm like, yo, that's okay. That's dope. I see the vision because you gotta have some type of system in place. That way you can advertise your players. That's the main thing, advertising your players. And I think y'all doing a good job of presenting that. When we talk about Colin, we say that's the number one player, right? So that's already a label y'all guys setting on the players, on the organization. Like, we organize, we have a vision, we have people you can root for, attached to, because that's what sports is all about, is attaching to that individual player or team. And I think that y'all on the right, on the right path of doing it. Would you agree, Gatwood? You think that's the way to go?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, kind of like you were talking about with the esports and all that. I mean, I feel like that's kind of like a way you could follow because like they didn't. I mean, they weren't big for a while, and then they're all of a sudden popping up on ESPN and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like you really never know what can happen. I mean, you got to start somewhere, and it looks like they're on the right track.
most definitely. So the Air Hockey Agency is it's a brand. It's not a team, right? It's a brand slash team or
I would say
organization.
it's a team. So currently it's myself as number one, Vince Sauceda, who has been number two for a lot of tournaments. He's been runner up like at least 5 times, I think. Billy Stubbs, who is currently ranked in the top 10, but he's a 4-time world champion. And then Robert. So yeah, we never played as a team in like a 4v4 event, but we are a team that operates. So
How do you get like called out like to, can somebody be like, I want to go against the number one air hockey player in the world and see if I can beat him to try to be the number one. You know what I mean? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so they're called challenge matches. So anybody in the world can call me out, like you said, and say, Colin, I want to play you and I want to challenge you for your rank. And if they can beat me under a certain set of rules, they become the number one player.
Wow.
So that's kind of the unique thing with such a small sport is that that's just how it is. But I recently sorry, go ahead.
You can go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't get very many challengers though.
You don't have nobody coming beating on the chest like, I want you, Colin. I want you now.
No, they usually figure it out in the first game. They're like, oh, okay.
Oh man, that would be hilarious.
That
like,
good, huh?
Yeah. Like, oh,
Well,
I can see Colin. He's smooth. I can see Colin like somebody challenging. He's just over there sipping his drink, smirking. Like,
I mean, I'm not a liar, man. I'm not gonna hide it from you for that long.
I mean, if you're the number one player in the world, I mean, we don't really have to say much. I mean, you don't have to say much. Obviously,
yeah, he ain't saying nothing. He's just smiling at you.
I was thinking, like, like an arcade, if you play air hockey, it's like best to 7 usually. Like that's it. Like, what is it like for y'all? Is it the same or?
Yep. So the way that tournaments go is every game is best of 7 points, and then you'll play the best 4 out of 7 games, and that constitutes a set. So if I were to be playing against people in a tournament, I would have to beat them 4 games before they can beat me 4 games. So
Gotcha.
Oh,
sometimes people might win 1 game against me,
Mhm.
or sometimes I'll get closer with 2 or 3 games. Actually, in this past tournament, I got beat a set. So there was a double elimination. It's a double elimination tournament for the Worlds. So somebody beat me 4 games to 2, actually. It was kind of a huge upset. And then I came back and was able to win through the losers bracket.
Oh, so you did a little research on them after you saw them play. You're like, okay, I got this.
I was like, no mercy, man. Let's
Yeah,
get
I'm
this over
coming
with.
for you. You found a kink. You found a kink in the armor. You went for it. I like that. So
Mhm.
you mentioned the tournament play using this 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
So last weekend was a Texas State tournament,
Yeah. Okay.
but this past summer was the 2022 World Championship down in Houston.
Houston.
Actually, both tournaments were in Houston.
So I saw a picture of you on your Instagram holding a trophy. That was from the state championship.
That was from the World Championship.
Your world championship. Awesome. And I saw it. I'm guessing your wife. I was trying to read the caption. So your wife played air hockey too, right?
Yes. So my wife and I played as a doubles team, and that was super fun. So we just got married back in May, and
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, it's been super fun introducing her to the sport, and she's a trooper. She's very humble when it comes to it. So we play it as a team,
Mm-hmm.
and actually representing AHA as the AHA Newlyweds. And
Nice.
somehow we came in second place during the World Doubles Tournament. So
Hey.
yeah, she's the first female runner-up ever in doubles. So
She
we're
was
going for
carrying
the
you.
dub. Yeah, she was carrying me the whole time.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. That you and your wife be able to do something like that together, and like a lot of couples can't do that. And I'll be honest, me and my wife play games together. And, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of bickering back and forth. Houdini see us at Christmas time when we play games. So that's great, man. That y'all have that special connection in y'all relationship, especially being newlyweds, man. Y'all keep that up, man, for real.
Sure.
So, I went to your YouTube channel and I saw you had, instructions on how to play. You had not trick shots. You explained the shots and everything. So, go more in detail about the gameplay of air hockey for me.
Okay. So the basic strategy in air hockey, the goal is to score more points faster than your opponent. So you got offense and defensive strategies, and then there are some semi-neutral strategies, which I'll go into a little bit more. But for offense, that's basically you hitting the puck fast or accurately, or those are pretty much the two. So an acronym they use is DAP. It's for deception, accuracy, and power. And some people use different words, but those are the basic three. So deception on offense is where you do all sorts of things, basically to trick your opponent into thinking you're going to do something else. That's usually the more complicated one. So I'll come back to that. And then accuracy, basically, if you see that this part of the goal is open and you hit it and you get into the goal. And so it takes practice in order to align your shots to where they're accurate 100% of the time. And then power, a lot of people, that's probably the second most difficult, is just having the mechanics to move the mallet and hit it as fast as possible, with also keeping it on the table. Because the puck it's not the heaviest thing in the world. If you hit it too hard, then it'll go fast, but it might fly off the table.
Yeah.
And if you hit it off the table, then that's a foul. So the other person
That's
gets the
what.
puck. Mhm.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that was a penalty. If you hit it off the table. So
Yeah. So some of the rules, you can't touch the puck. Like if it's just bouncing around the table, you can't touch it with your hand. You can only touch it with the mallet. I actually have a mallet with me right now just for visual. And then if you hit it off the table, then that's also a foul. So, but yeah, that's offense. Basically, you have to figure out how to move your opponent out of the way so that you can score as much as possible. And then defense is a little bit less, I would say, of a mastered field, just even within the pro air hockey players. Defense is where you are watching your opponent with the puck and you have to pick it up pretty much by either two ways. You either have to predict it or you have to have the reflexes to see where the puck's going to go. So if I had to connect it with things like e-gaming or baseball, where like you got to watch the pitch, you have to catch the puck going in the right area. So it takes a lot of hand-eye coordination. But then the predictive part is you being able to know based on your opponent, what shots do they shoot the most and what am I going to take away? So a lot of times the puck is so fast that it's a 50-50 with whether you're actually going to be there fast enough. It's super fast. Like not even my muscles are that fast to just move back in time if somebody hits it right.
Like I've been a Flash.
Yeah, exactly. So what ends up happening when you get into the higher levels is they're able to read your muscle movement and just your windup, and they say, "Oh, I think he's going to go for the bank instead of going straight forward, or vice versa." And so it looks like, "Oh man, that person's so fast, he moved," but it's actually, "Oh, he was going to go there in the first place. He was reading it." There's telegraphing shots.
So also, you just can't be predictable. Like
exactly.
Man, that sounds like a film study on each player. Like because you really going there blind when you play against different players because you don't know how they play. Because from what I'm getting is different type of players. Like they might be more of an accurate type player. They might be more of a power type player or more defensive type player.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's pretty heavy when I'm trying to process
yourself? What type of player would you consider?
Yeah, I am definitely a defensive player. So, and I mentioned earlier that there's offense and defense, and then there's kind of this middle category. I would call that neutral if I had to give it a label. But there's this thing called puck control. And so these are all the things that just kind of add to both your offense and defense. But puck control is basically when you hit the puck and it goes against the wall and it comes back at you, you being able to catch it and like keep it on your side. If I had to compare that to anything, it'd be like foot touch in soccer. Like when you're dribbling the ball, the best players are the ones that can do those crazy tricks and they can like move it around people and all that. So I have really good puck control. I'm also very fast. Like I'm one of the more athletic players, so I'm able to just keep the intensity up the whole time. So that adds to my offense and my defense. But mainly for my defense, people will be sitting there about to shoot while I'm like up and posed, ready to attack, like as they're shooting. So
it kind of like put a little thing in their mind, like, oh crap, what he about to do? Instead of them concentrating on their attacks, they kind of like trying to figure out what's this guy about to do.
Exactly. Like I try to always keep them stressed and always keep them thinking like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. And so that if I had to get
being just like that.
What you say, Houdini?
That's how I used to beat you.
No, yeah, he just had to bring that up. How he used to beat me. Okay, long time ago, buddy. So, Colin, is this fair to say by you playing more defensively that allows you to play more aggressive on the offense side of the ball?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So every time that you have the puck they call that a possession. So the person who has the most possessions is the person who has the most opportunities to shoot. So let's say that two people are playing against each other, and one person takes the puck out of the goal, puts it on the table, and just hits it as hard as they can. But the guy sees it coming and he catches it. And he's like, okay, now I have the puck. That guy is more conservative and he hits it not at full speed, but just kind of moderately. And it goes against the wall and he gets it back. Okay, well, he still has the puck. So he tries again. And let's say he gets 5 tries without the other guy taking it. That's where I come in. Since I have such good puck control, I get more opportunities. And so therefore I don't have to be as accurate because eventually it's going to go in. I have just more chances. The probability goes up the longer I have it. So
that's. You can go ahead. You finish your thought.
Yeah, I was just going to say I get to be a lot more creative on offense because I'm not pinning myself into only having one opportunity.
Mm-hmm. That's literally just like basketball, football. You want the ball as much as possible. In your case, the puck. Where I used to coach basketball, I always tell the guys, take as many shots at the basket as possible. Because if you shooting the ball more than a team, you have your chances scoring go up more likely. I used to coach age 10 to 11. So I see similarities with you saying possession. In football, you want more possessions on the offense side of the ball. Tom Brady, he want to be precise. He want to be quick, aggressive, and you got a little Tom Brady in you. Bringing out these guys like that. Well, I did see in your profile. How many times did you win the world championship?
I am a 10-time.
10 times. He Bill Russell, guys. We got Bill Russell on the podcast here. You just need one more. What, Bill Russell have 11 Gatwood?
I think that's right. Yeah. So what you get you have 10 different trophies, or do you get rings, or how does that work?
Yeah. So I get a trophy pretty much every time. The last trophy I got was huge. So.
Hey, you need to post that trophy case for us. I want to see that.
Oh, for sure.
And so, how do you train for this? You talk about your skill set. You talk about how you play defensively so you can play more aggressively. Like, how do you prepare yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll preface by saying that my training regimen is not orthodox at the moment. So I used to play all the time. I would play daily. Mm-hmm. Lately, I don't own an air hockey table, so I have to go and practice. I'll probably practice like once a week. So for me, it's more like getting the muscle memory back. But as I was up and coming, I would play every day for the most part. I had a table in my house, it was like in the very center, and I would play by myself. I'd play with my dad, so I had a few different strategies. But lately, I've been experimenting. So my little brother, he's up and coming, and so he plays every day. I've kind of been giving him these ideas for how he can practice more. So what I would do to train was first exercise in general, just put that out there. And then on the table, I would take out the puck by myself. There's nobody on the other side. And I would just hit the puck against the side rails, like so that it would go over and come back to me. And I would just hit it every time and just try to catch it. And what I was doing is developing the puck control to where I could just hit it and catch it. And subconsciously, when I play now, I don't have to think about it. Like I used to get on the table and hit it and be like, oh, shoot, where's it going? It's so fast. Yeah, exactly. But now, since I hit it from all different angles and all different ways, I have this like subconscious feeling of, okay, it's going to go over here. I don't have to think about it. And I definitely know there are a lot of sports that are like that too. It becomes an unconscious thing. So that's how I would train for the most part. And then you practice hitting shots on goal too. So I would just hit it as accurately as possible, go to the other side. And I would do the same shot over and over and over again until it was pretty much perfect. And then,
So how long do you practice for?
I would practice for about 2 hours at a time. sometimes less. Sometimes I just get home and play for like 30 minutes and listen to music. It was kind of my relax thing. So I always recommend for if people are just getting into air hockey, just go and play for fun and maybe go with a friend, because also the only way to get good at defense is to play people. So if you are playing your best friend from college or work or anything, they're going to have a unique way of hitting it, and you're going to pick up on it, and that's how you develop defense. So yeah, I would just say that. But yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is, fellas, you gotta wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Get on the air. If you want to be Colin, you gotta wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. He said 2 hours. You better triple that. You better put in 6 hours, and go from there. 5 o'clock in the morning. Get up, practice air hockey, defending, all that type of stuff. If you want to be Colin. So we like I said, we saw the app that you was on. You and Rob Kennedy was promoting on y'all Instagram story. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so this was really cool recently. It's called Pwnyup, and let me see if I can get it here real quick so I can give you a quick visual. But basically, it was an app where we could go and we could pick who were going to be the top players in this past Texas State tournament. So the 4 picks were myself, a guy named Danny Hines, and another guy named Justin Flores, and my younger brother Connor. And see, the question was, will Colin Cummings win? He's putting me as number 1. Will Danny Hines being a 11-time air hockey world champion himself, he won a lot of tournaments in the 2000s. Wow. Will he make it to the top 3? Justin Flores, multiple-time top 10 finisher, will he make it in the top 5? And then my younger brother, will he be in the top 10? So my younger brother, I think, is number 17 right now in the world. So him and Texas. Yeah. So being in the top 10 within the Texas State tournament was a real big deal. Yeah. So basically, you would make your predictions, and I was fortunate enough to predict correctly. So I said that I would win.
You never bet against yourself.
Exactly.
You know. So Pwnyup, are they gonna continue to do air hockey tournaments, or it was just for this one?
Yeah, I hope so. So Robert and the air hockey agency have basically worked with Pwnyup. I know that Pwnyup is a pretty new app, but we would love to continue to work with them. If they put other events, then we will likely be the ones who post the ways for them to basically bet. It's also Pwnyup's like in-app currency that you win, so it's not straight up gambling. It's more of a fun thing to do. Although there are prizes that you can get. But from what I've learned from sports betting, we would likely, as the air hockey agency, put up the bets, and that would just be a way for us to gauge interest and hopefully reel in people. Because I can speak from my own experience that when I was playing in the March Madness brackets, I got a lot more excited about when my college teams are winning. I had this just emotional connection. Like, I am on the team now. And so that's what we want for air hockey. We want people to be able to emotionally invest. Just buy an app and say, okay, I think that this guy's going to win. I don't know him, but he's my guy.
He's your guy.
We want them to be able to watch on a live stream. And so
that's what's up. You should talk to Gatwood about being emotionally invested in his team. Just ask him how his fancy going for him.
Oh, is it going okay for you, Gatwood? No.
I won it last year. I won our league last year, so this year the same year.
Yeah. So remember what I think it was like 2 years ago. Sorry, Gatwood, got to the story. Your team was losing on Monday night, and you said, "Man, I hate my team." I was like, "Bro, it's okay, man." He said, "I always lose." I was like, "Bro, it's gonna be okay, man. You give him next year, and look at him now, champion of my league, from this past season, then I'm coming back for my own title. It's my league, so I feel like I should be on top of it.
Mm.
You talking about you the number one player in air hockey. I'm really the number one player in fantasy football. I'm like the guru, the king of it. So
Nice.
yeah, that's
He's
why I
lying.
bring this.
He's lying.
Houdini, I only know why you made that face
Not
for, bro. Like
He's
you had like I'm
legitimately the
spitting
number one player
lies.
in the world. He's legitimately the number one player in the world, man. Do not compare yourself to him.
Yeah, you're right. I don't have that many championships underneath my belt. I only won like 3 main leagues. So maybe when I get to 10 or 11, I can maybe get my own T-shirt made and something, get my own crown. Houdini, stop
Maybe in
shaking your
like
head.
40 years. Like 40 years, maybe.
Most definitely not. So, do you what you do? Do you do anything? Do you do anything else in your spare time? Besides, just playing around with the air hockey?
Yeah, so I hang out with my wife for the most part,
That's
and
important.
Yep. So we go and we do roller blading. We do uh, things like disc golf, and yeah, we just try
Disc
to.
golf.
Mhm.
Yeah, I never played that. I always wanted to play disc golf, but I suck at throwing a frisbee, bro. Like, there's no way I can throw that thing like 200 yards. What is it, like 200 yards? Sometime longer. So
Yeah, it's more of a recreational. We just try to have a relaxing time.
yeah.
If we don't lose a disc, then it's a good day.
Have you ever played ultimate frisbee?
Yes, I love ultimate frisbee. That was my
Yeah,
game in college.
dude, tell me about it. I played it in high school and a little bit in college, man. I miss it. In Mississippi, see, we don't do stuff like this down here. That's why a lot of people kind of like talk down in Mississippi because we don't really have a lot of recreational sports to be played.
Hmm.
You really gotta like dive underneath a rock to find something.
Hmm.
So that's good to have other interests and everything. Houdini, why you
There's a
looking
lot.
like that?
Cause man, like we have sports.
Bro, not really, bro. Look, I've been looking for a flag football team ever since I moved down here in the Pedal. Pedal
Well,
do not have
it's
one.
all about location.
Like
It's flag
Texas has a lot.
football.
Like when I went to high school in Texas, man, we had a lacrosse team in high school. We had a water polo team.
Oh yeah,
Like
water polo is big.
they even had
Do we
ice
have?
hockey.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we remember we did have an ice hockey team here in Mississippi. We had the Mississippi
Yeah.
Bandits.
Right?
Gone. I
Well, I'm
don't
talking
know
about
why
high
they. I
school
don't
level.
know,
Though.
huh?
High school level, we had all that. Like Texas has so much more opportunity.
And it's hot in Texas, so why Mississippi don't have a air hockey team? A hockey team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't have like water polo, but we have.
Half
we
of us
have.
can't swim anyway.
Yeah, it's true. Speak for yourself, but
So, we trying to we want to get Mississippi where they have more fun things to do.
start
And
the air hockey
yeah,
league.
we're talking to Robert Kennedy, that we're gonna start, air hockey. We're gonna try to get that thing going because I know a lot of kids that love to play it, and that would be a good opportunity for y'all. Like,
Yeah, not just kids.
yeah, but it starts with if you start with the kids, bro, they gonna keep going. You know what I'm saying? Start with the younger
Yeah,
kids, get them interested in it too.
Mhm.
Then, you have another generation to take over.
absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely one of the things we're working on right now is trying to get the younger generations involved. So when I started at age 10, I attribute a lot of my skill today to how young I started.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have kids yet, but I would think that there are ways for us to basically advertise for families to
Yeah.
be able to have their kids. And so that's my number one goal is to make air hockey more of a family oriented sport. Because traditionally it's been predominantly men and a very tough competitive scene. But air hockey's not football,
Yeah.
nothing against football, but air hockey has a different demographic that it can shoot for. More of we're just here to have fun, but some people will take it and they'll want to have the competitive atmosphere. Not everybody that plays in the sport has to have that same like killer mentality. Like there can be, plenty of people within the league that are just there to have a good time.
Yeah.
I would kind of think about bowling potentially. People go there on Friday nights and they want to have drinks, but they're still in the league, playing for rating points and just having something to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, we could definitely get something going in Mississippi. I'm confident.
Man, make it happen, we looking for stuff to do. Like I said, we play football. Me and my brother played air hockey when we was kids, and like I said, I thought it was good until I started talking to y'all guys. I'm like, nope, my strategy sucks. Cause I'll tell Robert my strategy. I'm like, I kept the puck in front of the goal, but he's like, no, you don't want to keep the mallet in front of the goal, cause I'm trying to block from scoring. You got to keep it more out. Like I see. I like so yeah. I wouldn't last very long.
Yeah, and I will say real fast that one of the resources that I know Robert and others within the air hockey community are trying to put out and make available to potential players is, we'll say, a map where air hockey tables can be found, where people can say this would be a really good spot, an opportunity for, say, a family and their 3 kids come and they say, hey, I want to have just a meetup here every Friday or Thursday or Saturday, whatever. And that is how we think things can start. So I'll give 2 examples recently in Idaho. Basically, a few players have banded together. They go to their local arcade and they have like the 4th largest air hockey community in the United States now after less than a year.
Really?
Pretty much. Might have been 2 years. I think they're number 4. And then the second largest air hockey community is in North Carolina. And they're a little bit older, but they're way young compared to some of the others. So I think it's Texas, North Carolina, Illinois, and then Idaho are the 4 largest. And North Carolina, they have this, I'll give them a shout out. It's called Boxcar Arcades. And they basically will have like 30 plus players a week who all go and have a good time. So
that's awesome. It kind of remind me of like the Madden tournament. I don't know, y'all remember those things? Back in the day, they always had a Madden tournament where they put out flyers. They'll put that advertisement through app, through TV. So that's a good way to do it. Like you described, and where families can go and have fun. It's the same way, like I said, Madden did it. They advertise it where kids can come and play and have a good time. And I think that's what most families want, where they can come and have a good time and learn new things and make that special bond. So I want to ask you this: do you have any favorite sports teams or anything you root for?
Yeah, I always root for the Baylor Bears because that's my school. Yep. So I just went to homecoming probably 2 weeks ago. So I believe they beat Oklahoma State in football. So that was pretty epic.
It was.
Yeah. So I particularly like the Baylor basketball team a little bit more just because in my senior year, they went and took it to the national championship. And that was amazing. That was once in a lifetime opportunity.
Most definitely.
So yeah, them. I've not been into football before college, but I'm from Houston, so I stick with my Houston Texans even if they have trouble. And the Astros.
Gatwood, take some note from our man Colin. He stuck with the Texans after all that.
Yeah,
all that Gatwood.
After Brian blew up the team and traded DeAndre Hopkins, I couldn't do it, man.
I totally understand, but it is strictly proximity that I'm just a Houstonian. I gotta remain loyal. So
yeah.
I mean, even in San Antonio, we got the Spurs, and I just remember the days when the Rockets would be playing, and I can't give that up. So I still like the Spurs though; they're great too.
Yeah, we actually have a Spurs fan on our pod. His name's Dustin Bishop, and he actually, I don't know if he's still in the military. He don't really say much about that life, but he was in the Navy, so I believe he was stationed in San Antonio. I don't know. Is there a camp down there in San Antonio for the Navy?
I've heard of a few Navy people being down in San Antonio.
Yeah, so he was in San Antonio for a while, and finally he came back to Mississippi. So yeah, he's a huge Spurs fan. He would have been on tonight, but he said he had to do some type of training. So
Hmm.
that probably what it was. He
Yeah.
always doing something. But before we come to a close on the podcast, is there any final thought you want to say about air hockey or the agency that you think people should check out or learn more about?
If I had any final thoughts, it would be to, of course, check out the Air Hockey Agency on Instagram. I
Mhm.
know that we're getting up and going, trying to post content. Check
Yeah.
out Colin Cummings on YouTube. I have plenty of videos that are just professional air hockey matches. Um, yeah, and then there's really not a whole lot of competition as far as like air hockey organizations go.
Hmm.
So if you were to search up professional air hockey, you'll run into air hockey, the Air Hockey Center Line, which is another YouTube channel and Instagram that has a lot of air hockey content. Um, and also the USAA, United States Air Hockey Association, has a lot. So there's definitely a lot of places, and I would just recommend that if you're at all interested in air hockey, to go check out those places. There's
Gotcha.
also an app that people have been working on. It's called airhockeyrank.com, and that has a lot of our information posted. So if you wanted to
Cool.
see, yeah, the rankings or anything
Hmm.
like that, I can actually just go straight to my phone and pull up the various rankings. So yeah,
Yeah. So if you will, drop me those links and I'll put in the show notes for you, and that way everybody can find it. And I did have one question. It did escape me, but it just came back to me. Before we end the pod, let me ask you this: who was the toughest player you ever played against?
the toughest player I ever played against. So that has to be Billy Stubbs because he was the reigning champion that I dethroned when I first became champion. So the story goes that we were in Colorado Springs playing in the 2015 World Tournament. I was in the winners bracket, so I had beaten everybody that I needed to make it to the finals.
Hmm.
Billy had lost to one of his practice partners from Chicago. So Billy is also from Illinois, along with Robert. So he was coming through the losers bracket and was the current reigning champion. Billy beat me an entire challenge match. So he beat, or not challenge match, he beat me an entire set. So he beat me 4 games to 2. So we were tied like evenly. Um,
Yeah.
so it was very close. And I think the only edge that I had on him was energy. So Billy's probably in his 40s now. And I, at the time, was 16. So I just had plenty of gas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but there was a mix of strategy and also just me having, uh, yeah, just more energy that I was eventually able to beat him 4-2. Um, which
That's
there's,
what's up.
yeah, there's a couple of funny videos about that win because I did a big old jump, like the whole,
Like the end of a TV show or something.
yeah, like a whole Street Fighter move, just woo, and did a spin and
Yeah,
everything.
that's
Yeah,
what's up, man. We had to find that. But that's awesome. So, man, we love that you came on the show. The man, the myth, the legend, the number one player in the world, Colin Cummings. Man, we really appreciate you joining the show, and we hope you come back and
yeah,
tell more
absolutely.
stories
Yeah,
about what's going on in the air hockey world and at the air hockey agency. So we
yeah.
definitely gonna keep in touch.
For sure, yeah. Hopefully, next time I come, I'll have a bunch of stories about the Mississippi air hockey group that's going.
Yes, and hopefully we be a part of coming up the ranks,
Yes,
training, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, training 6 hours a day. So.
Right.
yes. Do it.
All right, guys. Well, y'all know where you can catch us. We on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch at VOL Sportscast. Like and subscribe, and check out the show on YouTube. If you miss the live stream, we're gonna have it up, and we also are gonna have both the podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Castbox. So look out for Colin. He's coming. The Air Hockey AC. Thank you, man.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Deanie, and thank you, Gatwood. For coming
Sure.
on.
Sure.
And we'll see y'all soon. All right, guys. We out of here.
Peace.